I'm not sure about that approach to it or not. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know how you top it now after you had a submarine. Where do you go?
Well,
where do you go from there?
I think you lo-fi it, and they're all newspaper delivery guys, and then or you go back to their teen years when they were newspaper delivery guys riding bikes.
The teen version.
And then what happens is they steal a car.
Okay.
And it starts everything, and then nobody knew it was.
You either got to do that.
It was going to snowball.
Or you got to go for a full-on like space shuttle. Or something.
Yeah, in space.
It's got to be one of these.
Fast and the Furious in space.
All right, I think we're coming in live right now.
All
so, hello everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly entertainment podcast where we talk about everything that's going on in movies and television for this week. We got a ton of stuff to get to today, and we want you to be a part of it. If you're watching live right now on Facebook and YouTube, go ahead and drop in your comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. We have news about Marvel, Netflix, tons of things that we're going to get to today. I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And the thing we want to talk about right off the bat is the news that just kind of broke today.
Yeah, just recently.
Very recently, is that, we just had the fate, let me get it right.
The fate of the Fast and the Furious.
The fate of the Furious.
Fastest fate of the Furious.
The Fate of the Furious,
okay,
which is the one that just came out,
right.
which was the 8th movie in the...
part of a separate sort of on-topper trilogy to the original 7...
ones, okay.
The original 7s.
So we've had 8 so far, but now the news is this, it's that it looks like The Rock and Jason Statham may be making a spin-off movie from the Fast and Furious.
Yes.
So same universe, just a spin-off of the same 2 characters, possibly Charlize Theron's character also joining that and doing a separate movie because there's just not enough Fast and Furious movies.
There aren't. And, if you go back to the catalog, we all need more. Variety has reported that Universal is, quote, huddling on a spin-off that will focus on the characters originated by Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. I think they showed up in the 6th movie.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
And of course, now for those who read the tabloids or just, if you're deep into the entertainment stuff as we are, you also probably know that The Rock does not so much get along with the diesel train.
Yes,
I've heard that. In fact, it's been, I don't know if it's like actually confirmed, but I was reading something about the fact that they were not actually in any scenes together in this recent movie, and in fact they would use doubles when they were supposed to be shot together.
They really hate each other that much?
It's like they got serious beef, and The Rock goes on TV and he's like, I'll kick his butt and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that could just be The Rock.
You would think, or maybe just they're stirring this controversy to make money because drama always gets people interested.
All right, direct question. This isn't even the question that we've got starting. Who do you take in a fight, The Rock or Vin Diesel?
The Rock.
I mean, I think you would have to take The Rock.
He was a professional wrestler and he's humongous.
Yes, but Vin Diesel seems like he would fight dirty. I think Vin
Diesel.
Diesel.
Saying a street fight.
Vin Diesel, would straight up, shank him or something like that.
The old bite the ear off trick.
Yeah, he would have a shiv hidden somewhere, and at the last second, I think.
I don't know.
I might take Vin Diesel, even though I like The Rock a lot more. I think in a fair fight, you take The Rock. In a street fight, you take Vin Diesel. That's who I would go with.
Right, there it is.
All right, so anyway, let us know who you would take.
So it looks like The Rock stepped in on Fast 5, and that's when they started cultivating this rivalry. And then Jason Statham, Mr. fast spun action movie, just give me a car or give me something and I'll run around and kick people's asses. He showed up in the last one, in 6. And then they did 7 together.
Right.
And then they did this one together.
Okay.
And now they're going to jump off into
their own thing. And now they're going to do this.
And maybe it'll be boats, because really, if you think about it, there haven't been enough boat racing movies made recently.
They had a submarine. It was a submarine in the last one.
And maybe that is the bridge to the spinoff. It's like the waterway into the Fast and the Furious boat races.
Well... I am curious for people who are watching, who are big fans of the franchise, and I got to admit, I have to watch some more of the franchise because I'm not completely familiar with the world.
I have actually not seen one of the movies. I have to admit that right now.
Okay.
I'm going to see The Fate and the Furious because I have to go see the submarine and all the weird stuff. I don't think I'm going to miss much in the plot. I think it's going to be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I think you'll probably be okay.
I think I'll be able to catch up.
But with this franchise continuing on, are you excited about a spinoff? Especially people who are fans, hardcore fans of it. Is this something you want to see, that you think that can make a great movie, or is this too much? Is it just running the well too dry?
But it doesn't seem like it is, because I thought the trilogy would be too much, and so this movie right now is at around $685 million according to box office, and it's only been out for just over a week.
Okay.
In its first weekend, it made $532.5 million, beating everything ever. and beating the last movie in the franchise, which was the 7th.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that, though, is, and here's where your "are they going too far" comes into play.
Yeah.
It made $45 million less than the 7th movie.
Wow.
In the United States. It made up for it in China and around the globe. So it's killing it across the world.
Okay.
And it's actually going down in the United States, at least for this film.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter what you and I think, or even what U.S. audiences think. As long as China and Europe are on board for more car chases, this thing is going to keep on its runaway train.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do have a couple of comments coming in here on Facebook.
I would imagine.
And let's see. So far we've got The Rock. Everybody says The Rock's going to win over Vin Diesel. I don't know. I'm saying Vin Diesel in a street fight. But speculating on what they would use in an upcoming movie, whether to kind of top submarine. Steve says Fast and Furious biplane racing. I can see
cool.
that.
I can see
If
that.
they went old school. If they had a time machine and they go back in time, and it's like horse and buggy races or something.
You joke, but this is not out of the realm of possibility.
That's not. Suddenly a time machine shows up. They messed it up when they went from car culture to this superhero BS. Scott is not happy about that part.
Rick Marshall, our guy who writes our reviews, actually likes it. He says it's superheroes with muscle cars, what's not to like? And I got to tell you, that's a pretty good pitch.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
I like muscle cars. I like superheroes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Let's see, a fight with Rock or Diesel. Well, Rock could break a Diesel's windshield, but a truck would crush you.
He's going literal.
Going literal.
Going literal.
This is true. I can see what you're doing there. I still say Diesel will shank him, and I think Diesel wins. That's who I think is going to win that fight.
Well, there you have it.
All right. Well, so that's the news. That's the big story that we have. But we have tons of stuff to get to.
Well,
and
not tons.
Well, okay, it's a little bit of a slow week, but we still have a lot of cool things to talk about.
We do.
All right, we're being asked something here on this side that I'm going to think about here. If you're watching right now, we're going to think about that here for just a second. I want to get through the weekend box office, though, real quick. And this is what we do every week here on this show. We talk about what's going on the weekend box office and what's happening, what movies are coming out, and I need to make kind of an apology.
Well, not really. You were
kind
right.
of.
No,
I'm kind of.
Don't make an apology.
I was mildly incorrect in something that I said last week. In that, only mildly.
You were not incorrect at all.
Technically, I was.
I will say you were not incorrect. Basically, they just had a trial run, if you will.
Yeah. So last week I talked about how The Lost City of Z was the big release, and I'm excited about one of the big releases,
along with The Fate of the Furious.
Yeah. And I'm excited about The Lost City of Z. I really wanted to see that. And then this week I kept seeing that it was actually the release date was this weekend, not last weekend. So the correction is there was a limited release last weekend.
4 theaters. It was like a little baby tiny release. So anybody who watched our show last week was like, well, I'd like to go to this movie.
Yeah.
However, I do not live next to the one theater.
Yeah.
In my state.
So, but now you can see it everywhere.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you did find out why they do this.
Well, so
why
it's kind of interesting. So Brad Pitt has his own production company called Plan B. We're going to get a little deep into the Hollywood thing here, but for those who remember, there was another Z movie that came out from Plan B, and it was World War Z.
Yeah.
This was adapted from a very, very popular graphic novel, which actually tells the story of an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse from the point of view of many different characters.
Okay.
When they went to make the movie, they couldn't figure out how to make that work and still have a lead character, the lead character being Brad Pitt. So they had extensive reshoots on that movie. They basically changed the script a lot, like all over the place, and they actually had script changes like leading up to it. It was rumored or reported that Brad Pitt actually had like a drama on set with the director.
There's so much drama today. A lot of drama.
There's a lot of dramas.
Okay.
With Mark Foster, the director.
Did you just say a lot of drums?
I did say that.
Okay, all right.
That's how I say drama. It's a little shorter than drama.
Just want to make sure I was clear on that. Okay.
Drums. Also, you can use. And
cool.
So, oh boy. Anyway, so that happened with World War Z. Now he's making another movie from Plan B, Brad Pitt. And it was, The Lost City of Z.
So he only makes Z movies.
He only makes Z movies. And in this movie, they also had all kinds of issues. Not quite as bad, but they had issues. It was supposed to be made in 2015. I think it was in limbo for like 6 years. And then what happened was that Brad Pitt had a scheduling conflict, so he fell out of the movie, and Charlie Puttnam came in. Mm-hmm. Charlie Hunnam. Sorry.
Yeah. Hunnam.
Yeah, exactly. So
Jax Teller. Jax Teller.
What I'm saying is that if Brad Pitt makes a Z movie, there's going to be some drama.
Yeah.
Or some drums, as I say.
So, or as Brian says,
I
drums.
just thought that was interesting. The
Bottom
guy
line,
has made
though,
2 movies with Z's, and they had all kinds of trouble.
and there's problems. Well, I
Yeah.
think that's your sign right there. Is
Yeah,
Brad
stop
Pitt
doing that.
cannot make movies with Z's. Lost City of Z, though, you can go see it this weekend. So that is one of the releases, and there's a couple other ones out that haven't gotten a lot of attention, but actually look like they might be pretty good movies.
Well, and should we give them a quick spin-off of what Lost City, or quick synopsis?
The Lost.
of what
I feel like
Lost
I've
City
done
is?
it like 9 times.
You
now.
have.
But Lost City of Z. Yeah, if you don't know about it, it's based on a true story of this explorer who went down to South America in the early 1900s, trying to find a city that he thought existed. Basically a city of gold. El Dorado is what essentially it was. And he thought he knew where it was, and he went out into the jungle on several different expeditions. The final one, and lots of people died on these expeditions. The final one, him and his son went out, and they disappeared, and they never came back. And there's just been theory after theory after theory for years of what happened to them.
Yep.
And all kinds of other people went down to look for them, and it's estimated 100 people have died or gone missing trying to find this guy, or trying to find the remains, or trying to find what happened to him. And that's what this movie's about.
And so as for the movie, Rick Marshall, our reviewer, went and saw it. He said it's really beautiful as we had described it, as we knew it was going to be as far as the cinematography. But he found it wandered a little bit too much for him. So that was his take on it. We'll see. I know that makes you sad inside. I know
does.
You're so excited.
I'm still going to see it. I'm excited about it.
I want to go
is
see
great.
it too.
I'm going to go. Yeah,
and it is getting
I will
pretty good
definitely watch
reviews.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there we go. So Lost City of Z.
That is our Z episode.
Z, the Z recap.
That's right.
It's too many Z's. All right, a couple other movies that are coming out this weekend that you can check out. One is called Free Fire, and these are a couple of ones that didn't get a whole lot of attention, but now that I've taken the chance to actually watch the trailer for this and learn a little bit more about it, it seems pretty good. It's executive produced by Martin Scorsese, so it's got that, a little bit of that on it. The director's Ben Wheatley. It stars Brie Larson, Cillian Murphy, and Armie Hammer, and then Sharlto Copley, who's from I'm probably saying his name wrong, but from District 9.
Right.
And
we saw the trailer
Chappie.
for this a while back, and it looks really fun. It's like a 70s period shot.
70s
piece.
Boston crime.
Lots of mustaches, lots of big
mustaches,
sunglasses.
a lot
I'm
of
sure
quips.
there's going to be cocaine flying around everywhere.
A lot of cocaine, a lot of quips, a lot of, people getting shot.
It looks fun.
It does look like a pretty fun movie. So Free Fire, that's one that's coming out. I probably won't see it in the theater, but I definitely will watch this when it comes out to
I love
Netflix
Cillian
or
Murphy.
whatever.
He's great.
Cillian Murphy's fantastic.
And Brie Larson, of course. She's good.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Brie Larson again here in just a minute.
That's correct.
So another one that's out this weekend that I know you hadn't even heard anything
nothing about this. I'm always have my nose in this stuff.
This gets a little sci-fi and a little bit nerdy. So it's a movie called Phoenix Forgotten that's coming out. It's a found footage style horror movie, but it's based on an event that happened in Phoenix on March 13th, 1997.
I remember this.
Called the Phoenix Lights.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you do know about that.
Big
okay.
time.
Yeah, so the Phoenix Lights was this, whatever it was, this was an actual sighting. You can look it up on YouTube. It's one of the most talked about UFO sightings of all time, where it was a series of lights that just appeared over the city of Phoenix. And there's video of this. You can look that up. What it is, who knows? But it was called the Phoenix Lights, and it was never really explained. So what they've done with this movie is went back and did a different take on it, where it's found footage of these kids who went out into the deserts to explore the Phoenix Lights and find out more about it. And of course, bad things happen, and then they find the footage years later.
It really looks like Blair Witch mixed with aliens.
With aliens, yeah. It's
But
an aliens Blair Witch.
Should be cool.
Yeah, again. Not something that I'm going to probably see on in the theater, but it is.
You could,
you
because
could.
it is coming out
But
this
you could.
weekend. Yes,
you could. It absolutely. All right. So
and speaking of Brie Larson,
let's talk about Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel.
This is a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the first female-led superhero movie from Marvel, pretty much. It is.
Yeah.
And we finally got some directors.
We do. And so, the Captain Marvel's part of Phase 3 for Marvel, and the directors are now going to be, it's a duo, Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck are going to be helming it, and this has been kind of a big deal. They've been really hyping up who's gonna be directing this.
And who are they again? These
exactly.
guys are indie filmmakers. They're writers mostly. They've directed a few things, one of which they did together. A little movie starring Ryan Gosling, sort of when he was on his way up, called Half Nelson. So it's again Hollywood picking indie guys, to helm a $150 million movie or whatever they're going to spend on this thing.
Right.
It's an interesting thing. It's Hollywood's new deal. It's like, let's take these storytellers, these indie filmmakers,
give them a shot
and let them have the reins to this multi-million-dollar franchise.
Yeah.
And it should be cool. I mean, you just never know. And we should say that Brie Larson, for those who don't know, is playing Carol Danvers, who is an iteration of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, there's several
later down the line.
Yeah, there's different Captain Marvels.
They sort of take up the mantle. Yeah.
And this one, I mean, this version, basically, it depends on exactly how they do it, but she's fused with a superhuman or fused with a Kree, which is like a kind of a superhuman thing. She's really powerful.
Yeah.
And according to Kevin Feige in this Phase 3 announcement about Marvel, he said that Carol Danvers is one of the most, if not the most, powerful heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's
more powerful than anybody else.
Like Hulk? I mean,
more
that's
powerful than
quite
Hulk.
the statement.
So that's what they're saying. I mean,
and I don't know about you, but I didn't really know much about Captain Marvel growing
I did not.
up. I know the reference in the Beatles song. That's as far as it really went.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Captain Marvel zapped him right between the eyes.
Yeah. Well, so there we go. And again, everybody who's watching on Facebook and YouTube, let us know what you think, if you're excited about Captain Marvel or what you feel about this. Because we do have another Marvel announcement, because they are not stopping. That is a cinematic universe that just keeps expanding to all kinds of places.
Kind of like the Fast and the Furious.
Kind of like the Fast and the Furious. Only now, Marvel is going to a network, and we've talked about this before, a pretty new network called the Freeform Network.
It used to be ABC Family.
ABC Family.
And it
now
targets
Freeform.
teens and tweens. That's kind of its target audience.
It targets teens and tweens.
Yeah.
All right, so the Freeform Network is going to be launched. Well, we knew that the New Warriors, we talked about that last week, with Squirrel Girl is going to be on there. Sounds like I'm speaking a different language if you don't know what that is. The New Warriors with Squirrel Girl. But they also have another new Marvel series that's coming out, and that is Cloak and Dagger. So Cloak and Dagger is a comic book series that follows these two characters who they have different backgrounds, but then they come together because they both have superpowers, and they kind of solve crimes is more what they deal with. And this new series looks like a teen drama.
And they are teens.
They are teens.
Say. Yes.
It's a teen drama.
And what bothers me most about this, I don't know, maybe this could be great. I've never read the comics, but what bothers me is Cloak and Dagger is a 1984 movie about a kid who stumbles into some spy stuff, and that is a classic for me. So just I'm having a real hard time with this. And I realize the comic was probably maybe established before the movie, I guess.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Did you? Maybe we didn't see when it was actually established.
It was established before that.
Okay.
Before that. Yeah, so
but I'm still having a hard time with it.
Right, it's a bit of a difficult one.
I was thinking they were rebooting that movie, and I was like, I could see that.
Well, and how you tie this into the actual cinematic universe, I don't.
Very loosely.
Very, very
I would
loosely.
Assume.
Yeah, maybe some random Stark reference in the background.
Yeah, some shout out.
Yeah, but it's going to be a 10 one-hour episodes slated to debut early next year. So Cloak and Dagger going to be coming to the Freeform Network.
Yes.
So you can see. All right, let's do a little bit of we're going to do a little bit of reboots here, because this is the theme.
This is so
weird. If it's not a comic book movie, it seems like it's got to be a reboot or a remake. And this is following Disney's new tradition of taking their classic animated features and turning them into live-action movies. They did it with Beauty and the Beast.
And I've been a big supporter of Disney. They make things right. They make series right. They're going off on Star Wars, but I enjoy it. But I'm not sure if I follow this trend of just doing live action versions of our favorite cartoons.
Well, this one is going to be Aladdin. So Aladdin's getting a live action feature. And here's a question. Do you think there is any Disney animated feature you would like to see as a live action version that you really are.
And as we should say, The Jungle Book turned out better than anyone could have imagined.
But
that was under the guidance of Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great director, and they had incredible technology. So they do know how to do this stuff right.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, not quite so dazzling, but it made a lot of money and people enjoyed it.
Right.
So
this one, Aladdin.
But the weirdest part is who they're picking.
Yeah, and it's
Mr. Serious.
Rumored right now that Will Smith will be playing the role of the genie. Will Smith as the genie in Aladdin, in a live-action version of Aladdin.
And I feel like if you're not a little bit older, you don't understand anything about where this is coming from, because Will Smith used to be, on the Fresh Prince and everything.
Yeah.
And he was, even in his hip hop days, he was very zany and fun. But, Scientology and then a lot of serious movies later, Will Smith doesn't really do comedy anymore, I mean,
No.
not very often.
Not too
anyway.
often,
He likes to do really serious stuff.
Well,
But he's still a
but,
funny guy.
Has he ever done like a musical though, where he sings?
Is that what they're going to do all the songs? Because that's
I
what
would
they've
imagine
been.
they'll do all the songs.
They've been doing that. But the Jungle Book didn't really do all the songs, right?
Unless he like raps versions of the songs.
I'm guessing they're not going to do this one as the straight up musical.
You don't think so?
But
No singing?
I mean, they might do some of the songs. It's hard to say. I mean, I suppose he could. He was a rapper, so.
Joe Cap says Mulan or Hercules. Yeah, would make good live action version.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I am curious what people think would make a good live action from a Disney movie, but we'll.
But Will
we'll see.
Smith, how is this Robin Williams? I know you don't need to like reinvent or do Robin Williams all over again.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you're not seeing it. Ryan
I'm
is
having
not
a hard
sold.
time with Will Smith, man.
Well, filming's expected to begin in July on this, so they're going to move right along this pretty quick.
Somebody I was talking to was like, I could see Chris Rock way over Will Smith, like.
No.
And I don't know.
I don't think I could see Chris Rock doing it.
He's a lot more boisterous and funny.
You know who would do it as oh my gosh.
How
now
about
I'm
angry
blanking.
Louis C.K.?
No. Okay, I have the actor. I'll circle back around.
Okay, we'll come
to
back
it.
to it.
Okay, god dang it. I'm blanking on the actor. I know the perfect person for this.
I'm sure you do.
for
Everybody
this role.
believes you.
I will come back to it.
Speaking of reboots,
All right.
they're gonna reboot Fahrenheit 451,
Yeah,
which is weird, but timely,
it is.
and it seems like probably the right time for it.
And this is going with on HBO. It's going to be an HBO TV movie. So
Okay, it's an HBO TV movie. That's a
HBO
little
TV
different.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so HBO TV movie. Fahrenheit 451. If you don't know about this book, Ray Bradbury wrote it. Dystopia, future world where everybody's burning books.
Yeah.
And that's
If they find a book, they come in and they also made this 1966 like classic sci-fi movie about it, like dystopian sci-fi movie that kind of inspired a lot of directors at the time.
yeah.
So it's and it's it's very timely right now when we have the whole like fake news thing going on, and there's a lot of people fearing like 1984 type
Right.
government control.
Dystopian.
So it's very timely for this kind of a reboot.
It
and
really
frankly,
is.
it's a movie that's really old and it's pretty dated. So it seems like they could do it justice.
Yeah, I mean it's one that could definitely come back. And 451 degrees is the temperature that a book supposedly burns.
Okay, that's where they got that.
Yeah, when it'll light on fire.
And of course, Fahrenheit 911 took its name.
Yeah.
The famous movie took its name from this property.
So, and Michael B. Jordan, rumored to be the person who's going to play the lead in it, who's the firefighter in the book. If you've read the book, that the fireman who burns books, but then decides to change his mind.
That's
slightly
right.
When he sees a little bit more of the world. So that's.
I mean, this kind of inspired other stuff too. It's inspired a lot of different sci-fi properties.
Yeah.
It's reminiscent of a lot of different things. Where the guy who's part of the team decides not to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You think of Logan's Run.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in this sort of realm. So that could be cool.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what they do.
Bouncing back to the Aladdin idea, I do see some comments coming through here on Facebook. Will Smith would be a great role, but his comedy roles are thinning out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he's done a comedy
Vicky
since,
says
like,
he's
Hitch.
no Robin Williams.
No, he is not.
What about, the person I was thinking of,
Oh,
finally,
here it is.
circling back
Bam.
around, Lin-Manuel,
Miranda?
yeah. Boom. There it is.
I
He
guess.
could sing. The guy from Hamilton.
Yes. Oh, of course I know who he is.
Yeah.
And he's very in
And
with
I'm
Disney.
sorry, I blanked on his name.
He's very
and
in
I
with
panicked.
Disney. Well, it's a very hard name. He's very in with Disney. He did
Yeah.
the soundtrack for Moana, so I could see that. But
He would play a good genie. I think he could do it. He could sing all the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yes.
You know, I think he would be good at it.
it's,
That's my petition.
There it is.
That took about 10 minutes for me to remember that, so I'm glad everybody hung around for that really telling reveal. All right, moving on.
we're all very excited.
Everybody's very happy for me. All right, another thing that's getting rebooted, and this is Netflix, and we've got a few things on Netflix that we want to talk about because there's a lot that's coming out there, and this is a classic.
Is it?
Kind of. Carmen Sandiego.
I never cared for this series.
Of course you didn't. All right. Well, tell us why you didn't care for
I don't know.
San Diego.
It was an educational video game,
Yeah.
which to me is just like, what's the point? Give me Nintendo. But, you know, it's fine. And then they made a couple of really cheesy series out of
Yeah.
it. They had one where the Nylons used to sing in the background. There was this, like, famous doo-wop group. But I always thought, like, Carmen Sandiego, like, isn't really a character. You never really know anything about her, just that she's bouncing around and she stole something. And now they're going to like try...
Just a thief.
And I read about this, and Netflix is calling it a fresh take on the original, providing a more intimate look into Carmen's past. And I'm just like, who cares? Carmen Sandiego.
Wow.
Like,
is that going to be your review?
it's
that
a
goes up at
completely
Digital Trends?
dimensionless character that they just
Carmen
created.
Sandiego. Who cares?
She wears a hat.
Next. I like it. I love geography, so for me, it
That's
was always a
cool.
lot of fun.
All right.
Like,
Well, and
I liked that.
They have a good cast. They've got Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin. I think she's an Emmy winner. I think she's gotten some really good kudos for that series. And they have Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things.
Okay.
Who plays Mikey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a good
Yeah,
cast.
so they do have a good cast.
I think it's going to be good, but
I think we're gonna like talk about it once and never think about it again.
can I read what Ryan wrote? We have a sheet that we kind of go by
Yeah.
just when we write these things.
Yeah.
Ryan in italics. This is so stupid. She's like one of the most dimensionless characters ever thought of. Sorry, that's your
It's
review.
true. That's my note to you, but
I know. I'm
you've
sorry. I
given
called
to
it
the
out.
audience.
I called
Yes.
it out
No, it's
because I
fine.
think it's great. I
And,
mean,
I said almost as much on the air. It's
you
fine.
pretty much did. That's why I went with it. All right. Well, there we go. So Carmen Sandiego. Some more things on Netflix, and here's something that's actually just debuted today. Just came out on Netflix. We've talked about it before, but it's a show called Girlboss. So when you open up your Netflix accounts today, you're going to see a big advertisement for that. I think they'll be pushing this a ton.
And speaking of things that we don't care about,
Well,
Greg watched part of it.
Okay, I'll explain it. Yeah, so I mean, Girlboss, it's a comedy series. It stars Britt Robertson, which you'll recognize her from a lot of other things. I think she's kind of she's going to be in a lot of stuff coming up. Usually she's blonde and she's brunette in this. Britt Robertson. The series is loosely based on Sofia Amoruso's best-selling book from 2014 that kind of chronicles. This is real life. She's got a company called Nasty Gal, which is a retailer that specializes in fashion for young women. And so Nasty Gal is an actual company, and the book kind of detailed her rise from just not having any money and trying to figure out her way in the fashion industry and then creating her business. Good story, great story. I did start watching it, and I have to say, I watched about 7 minutes. It's not. I don't think I'm the target audience.
No, I don't think that you are.
For it. It's well done. I think it's going to do very well for Netflix. I think if you're and I'm not trying to stereotype here, but it does have a very girls feel to it. If you're a fan of Girls on HBO, well done show. Again, not for me.
Right. Well, I thought the trailer was pretty witty. It looks like it's
It
going to
is.
be witty
It's
and
smart.
fast-paced. And the idea is she starts selling some stuff, and she basically screws up and gets kicked off eBay.
Yeah.
So she has to start her own website.
Yeah.
And Britt Robertson, for those who remember her, she was a child actress for a while. The last thing that I saw her in was Tomorrowland.
Yeah, she
the
was
Disney movie
also
with George Clooney. Yeah.
She was also just in that movie where the kid from Mars had to come to Earth, and then
Right.
Yeah, she's got to be like 35 years old, but she plays a 15-year-old.
She does, and it feels like she's finally playing her age
yeah,
now, so that's
yeah.
nice.
So, Girlboss, you will see that all over the place. Again, well done. I would say if you're, give it a shot.
Yeah.
That's all.
There you go.
I'll leave it at that. Give it a shot.
A ringing endorsement.
Yes, ringing endorsement. All right, some things that are coming out on Netflix soon, though, that I am kind of excited about. The Keepers is going to be coming out. Now, if you're a fan of Making a Murderer, this is going to be the series for you.
This looks really interesting.
This is May 19th is when this releases on Netflix. And it details, so again, a true story, documentary, just like Making a Murderer. And it details the cover-up of the murder of a nun in Baltimore. And this murder happened, in 1969 is when this nun went missing, a 26-year-old nun. Months later, her body was found, and no one was ever charged with a crime. And at this time, the Catholic Church really had a really strong grip on kind of the power centers in Baltimore.
Right.
And so they're going back and chronicling this and trying to figure out why no one was ever charged, why this was just kind of like swept under the rug. I mean, this woman was murdered, and there was just no big deal that was made of it.
Interesting.
And so that's what this is detailing. When it comes to these kinds of series, especially like church corruption stuff, I don't know why I find it fascinating, but
Yeah.
I'm all in on that.
Well, there's just so much to it.
So
There's
much.
hypocrisy, and there's so many different things, so many different elements that draw you in.
Yeah. So that's The Keepers. It's only going to be 7 episodes. May 19th, that'll be coming out.
And we should say Netflix has, I think I read 29 original series coming out in May.
So many.
In May.
Yeah.
29. Some of them are, repeat new seasons and stuff, but 29 original properties coming out just in May.
They're buying up everything.
You're going to have to set some time aside.
Yeah, just for Netflix alone. And if you're a Bloodline fan, I just wanted to make a note. Bloodline Season 3, which is going to be the final season.
The last.
Is coming out on May 26th. So if you haven't watched Bloodline before, I like it. I think it's a great series. It's kind of soap opera-y. It's about a very wealthy family in the Keys of Florida, and in this really small town, one son's the sheriff. The parents run this giant beach resort thing. They're all rich and tied into the community, but then there's the kind of the black sheep of the family, which is their son Danny.
Ben Mendelsohn,
which you probably recognize from Rogue One now. He is incredible. I mean, he's incredible in this series, and it's, of course, everything falls apart, and they're not as good and nice as everybody seems. And this 3rd season, they're really gonna have to wrap some stuff up. I don't want to give any spoilers if you haven't seen it, because it's a good time to binge watch it. It's very binge watchable, and the first 2 seasons, and there's a lot that happens at the end of the 2nd season. So it'll be interesting how they tie this back together, or how it all falls apart, or whatever's going to happen.
Well, it always gets high reviews. I just think it sort of gets lost in the fray.
It does, yeah. Well, with how many seasons are coming out?
You have always been a big supporter of Bloodline.
I like it.
You're
I
their
think it's a great
cheerleader.
series.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the new one. So Bloodline. I wanted to note just really quick I want to say this because you've probably also seen this advertised on your Netflix account, and it has to do with Adam Sandler. Because, good Lord, that guy is all over Netflix. I mean, they gave him a 4-movie deal. I was a fan of Happy Gilmore. I'm a fan of older Adam Sandler. I think we all were.
Right.
But, Jesus, this guy keeps pumping out movies. So they gave him a 4-movie deal, and they've signed him on for 4 more.
Right.
So he's going to be on Netflix forever.
And it gives you that feeling where you're like, who's watching this? How could,
Yeah.
Why would they want even more movies from him? I don't know anyone who's seen any of these Netflix movies, and then they come out with this number.
Right. So Netflix reported that Netflix subscribers have watched over 500 million hours of Adam Sandler films. 500 million hours.
I don't even
of Adam Sandler films.
Like, how to talk.
I mean,
what do you even say to that?
I admit that. So that new one, that Sandy Wexler one, I turned it on.
That actually
in the
looks
background.
kind of interesting to me.
It's okay.
Hard to watch.
Here's my review of Sandy Wexler. A lot of celebrities, like tons of celebrities that come in. The entire thing is him making a stupid voice.
Based
and
on
playing
his agent, though, right?
Yeah.
Loosely,
maybe, but it's Adam Sandler, dumb voice, a lot of celebrities. There you go.
And Jennifer Hudson.
And yep, Jennifer Hudson and a bunch of celebrities. And the most annoying laugh you've ever heard in your life, where it's not even funny after a while. You're just like, oh my God, I just want to punch my computer screen. But
wow,
500 million hours. So that's it. You're going to see a lot more Adam Sandler movies coming too. So
they will not be stopped.
Yeah, and some of them are good. I'm not saying all. Sandy Wexler, best of luck.
There it is.
All right, we don't even have to talk about the other Netflix. Trailer Park Boys, if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan, I'll just say season 11 is fantastic. Watch season 11. I won't even go into it because if you're not a fan, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. But it harkens back to like the original seasons.
And this is the first one that Netflix produced themselves, is that correct?
This is
so they've been doing it for a couple of years. Okay.
Third one, gotcha. I think. Yeah. Yeah. So season 11, watch it. Snoop Dogg's in it. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually really enjoy it when Snoop Dogg shows up.
He's
really funny.
Snoop Dogg's great in it. And yeah, it's a really great season of Trailer Park Boys. Better than even the last one. All right, one more spinoff that we had to bring up that we didn't get a chance to last week. Just a couple of things left here. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Leave your comments, questions right there on YouTube or Facebook, or if you're listening via podcast, even better.
Exasperations.
Yeah. Complain about something we've been talking about.
Yeah.
A spinoff that I'm not sure a lot of people are going to like.
A lot of these spinoffs we think are first reboots, and then people freak out. And then it's almost like the studio's like, well, we better not do that. Maybe we'll just make a spinoff. I think it's probably just poor reporting, but it almost feels like the studio is like...
okay, they didn't like
getting pushback, and then they just turn it into a
spinoff.
But we at first thought that the Labyrinth the famous 80s, sort of cheesy, but also very awesome Jim Henson, David Bowie movie would be getting a reboot. And everyone freaked out. There's no way you can do it. You can't do it without Bowie. Like, this and that and the other. But now we know that the new Labyrinth property is going to be a spin-off in the Labyrinth universe. Much like the Matrix movies we originally thought were going to be a reboot.
Yeah.
Although I feel like they have a lot more to mine than this one does. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big labyrinth, and there's plenty of premise to be had.
But man, I don't know. I mean, produced by George Lucas, directed by Jim Henson. I mean, David Bowie. Yeah, that's going to be a tough sell for.
But we should
it'll be a tough sell for older audiences. Younger audiences aren't going to care. They'll eat this up.
And we should say that the Jim Henson Company, now under the guise of Jim's son, is producing it, and they still make great. They have made a couple of really good Muppet movies.
True.
So they are going to be making puppets for this. We can almost guarantee that. So that could be interesting. And I'm a puppet fan when it's the Muppets. Like, I'm pretty much fan. Not a puppet fan unless it's a Muppet. But when the Muppets are involved, it's usually pretty fun. So there's that. But it is a strangeness. It's mining of the childhood as they just continue to do.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see, but we should be tentative at best, I would say, about this.
Yeah, so we'll see about that. And then finally, last thing we want to talk about this week is just XFiles is returning once again for another season. They brought them back
Everything
last
is returning.
Year. But at least it's David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson,
yes.
And then Chris Carter's executive producing. So a whole other season. They're going to start filming it, and it's going to be coming quick. So I'm showing the trailer from the last new season.
Right.
Set to air later this year, so 2017-18. So we'll be seeing this by the end of the year, a new X-Files season, and that's good.
They got great response. I think
they
only did, 8 episodes, and they got great response.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how many episodes this new one will be, but it is going to be coming back, so that's cool.
Well, and I will say that since X-Files, Gillian Anderson has done some amazing stuff, including The Fall, which I like to always bring up. If you haven't seen it, it's incredible, and she's great in it. So.
Yeah. Excellent.
Love Gillian Anderson.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I think that's about it for today.
Yeah.
We kind of wrapped it up. This is, again, Between the Streams. So this is our entertainment podcast. It's available as an audio version. Go to iTunes, subscribe. That way you get the version when it comes there. We've got lots of back episodes to listen to. We love to hear comments. So if you're watching the video version, leave a comment wherever you're watching that, and we'll get back to you. Or if you're listening via the audio version, you can always email us, podcast@digitaltrends.com. And we go live every Friday, kind of recapping the week in movies and television and looking forward to what's ahead, every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So that's where you can find us and join in the show and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
All right. I think is that about it?
That should do it.
Okay, that should do it.
George Takei for Congress.
Oh, all right. That was surprising. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're back next week with another episode.